Well, Donna, thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here and to be in this. Let's see, so I'll do.
So just, you got it.
Okay, excellent. Bringing together teachers here at the Institute. You all know how valuable you are in society. You're responsible for the next generation and everything that follows in the future. My father was very concerned with the necessity for us to be good ancestors, and you are in a pivotal role in that position. And here at the Institute, which is crucible for generating new knowledge, now bringing the two streams together in this event, I think is something that's really important. I want to start out by telling you a tale of two teachers and their roles in my father's life. Actually, my father would have been, if he were alive today, he would have turned 102 yesterday. So this auspicious timing for this occasion. When he was young, he was primarily concerned with sort of the human aspects of life and with social injustice. And he thought that what he wanted to do was to become a lawyer, get elected to Congress, so he could help make new laws that would support society in a constructive and positive way. When he was in college, he had an opportunity to take a chemistry course. And actually, it was a bit challenging for him. His family was Jewish, and the course met on a Saturday. It meant that he would have to break with his tradition in order to do that, but he felt drawn enough to it that he did just that. Well, that course changed his life. He was bitten by the bug of science. He loved the way of thinking. He loved everything about it, and that set him on the course to enter medical school. He wanted to become a doctor, but even at that point early on, he knew that it wasn't his mission wasn't to take care of individual patients. He wanted to do something that was going to have the greatest possible impact for a large number of people in the world. So that first teacher was the chemistry teacher. I don't know anything about him, or her. But just to imagine that one moment, if the teacher must have done something right to have had that impact on my father and to have turned him in the direction that shaped the rest of his life. He had a different sort of experience in medical school. He was taking a microbiology course. And in one lecture, the teacher said that to make vaccines against a couple of different bacterial diseases, diphtheria and tetanus, what was necessary was to take the toxin that was responsible for producing the pathology, inactivate it chemically, so it was no longer toxic, and use that as an immunogen to raise an immune response against the toxin. And that would work in that setting. The next lecture was on viral diseases. And what the professor said was, with viral diseases, you can't do that. You need to have a living virus in order to induce a protective immune response. And my father just didn't understand why that should be so. He asked the professor, and the answer basically was, well, that's just the way it is. That wasn't satisfying for my father. He thought to himself, both of these statements can't be true. And that moment set him on the more precise trajectory for the rest of his career, which was he wanted to test the question, why should it not be possible to make a vaccine against viral illnesses using an inactivated or killed virus immunogen? He had an opportunity to work during medical school with a man, Thomas Francis, who was interested in the same thing. After he completed his medical training, he went on to the University of Michigan, where this fellow, where Tommy Francis had gone, worked with him again on what became the first vaccine against influenza using an inactivated influenza virus. Thus, it was successful. It was used at the end of World War II, thus demonstrating clearly the principle that you can do it. Went on to the University of Pittsburgh, set up his own laboratory, wanting to continue work with influenza, was tapped on the shoulder by someone, the director of research from the March of Dimes, who asked whether he might be interested in taking part in a program having to do with polio, and the rest is history. So again, there was a crucial experience with a teacher. It was of a different nature, but that was the one that has led to the development of the first effective polio vaccine. Some of you may or may not know, there was a second polio vaccine that came along. It was indeed a live vaccine, greatly touted to be superior, etc. What's the long and the short of it is that there's been a program to eradicate polio globally, which has had a great deal of success. There's still a bit to go. But what's clear is that the initial vaccine, the inactivated vaccine, is going to be absolutely necessary because of its safety in the end stages of this process. So these two teachers had set a course that then led to not only the work with polio, but then, as a result of that success, the founding of this institution. My father's vision for this place was that it evolved, and it's been evolving from the beginning, that it should be a place to do very strong fundamental biological science. My father also was interested in as he was as a child, in the broader aspects of the human situation. I just read to you, this is an approximation of the words in the Articles of Incorporation in 1960 for what became the Salk Institute, which was that it would be focused on the creation and dissemination of knowledge relevant to the health and well-being of humankind, primarily through research, advanced instruction, and training in biology, in the cause, prevention, and cure of disease, and in the factors and circumstances conducive to the fulfillment of man's biological potential. So a broad range, but embedded within that is the dissemination of knowledge. So here we are today. So just one more thing, which is that the basic research at the Institute has, as another aspect to it, translation into prevention and cure of disease. And now in this setting is the new knowledge that's been created here, translation to the education of students at all ages and levels. So from here, we go on to this aspect of the work at the Institute, which is the education outreach program. So we'll just start just mentioning a few things. Ellen Potter came into this realm of her life and career and this aspect of the Institute by setting up the Mobile Science Laboratory in 1996, which many... Good job. So it's a program, a 3-day program to bring hands-on experience in the middle school classroom to biotechnology, which currently now is serving 20 schools and around 2,500 students annually. It has reached over 40,000 students in San Diego County. There's also an aspect of this education outreach program, which had started earlier on and then was rolled into it, which is the March of Dimes High School Science Day program, started in 1990, which every year introduces around 250 high school students and teachers to laboratories to have some hands-on experience, direct interaction with the scientists here at the Institute. And there's also the Heithoff Brody High School Scholars Program, which was instituted a long time ago, which it has 10 or 12 high school students as having a paid internship in laboratories at the Institute, taking on individual research programs in the context of the laboratory, with finally ending up with a presentation, a poster on the work that they've done. New programs that have been rolled out, including the side chats at Salk, which are Skype interactions with children in elementary school in the 4th and 5th grades, interactions with scientists here at the Institute, answering their questions about science. And then finally, the Partnerships in Science program with a video curriculum done in conjunction with high school teachers. There's been collaborations with other educational events. Last year, here at the Institute, there was a Women in Biotech program, which was part of a STEAM leadership series co-sponsored with Steve Chappell's Intellectual Capital organization, in which 300 girls from the San Diego Unified School District were invited here for those presentations. And now we are having this inaugural event to bring together you as a group of teachers with some scientists here at the Institute. Now, let's see how to say this exactly. The bad news from my vantage point is that I only learned recently that Ellen is going to be retiring at the end of this year, which has created a wave of happiness for her moving on and sadness for me seeing her go. So I just want to take this as an opportunity for those of you who have never met Ellen, for those of you who know her well, just to say a few things about her so that we can understand more fully the perspective through which this education outreach program has developed. I mean, Ellen has been the guiding spirit behind the innovation, the expansion, the consolidation of this program. She did her own training in biology at UCSD as an undergraduate, then was here at the Institute, was a research assistant with Magnus Fall and Suzanne Bourgeois' regulatory biology laboratory. Married the man sitting next to her, Ron Evans, who's currently professor and director of the Gene Expression Laboratory at the Institute, and we'll be hearing from him next. Together they had a daughter, Lena, in 1986, and after Lena's birth, Ellen came back and worked towards and completed her PhD here at the Institute in 1991, a PhD in physiology and pharmacology, under the mentorship of our beloved late Wiley Vale. She continued after that with a year of postdoctoral work in neurobiology in Paul Sawchenko's laboratory, and began to weave in another aspect of her life, which is that she had an early appreciation for the efforts and the needs of teachers, as her mother was an educator. And then when their daughter Lena was in middle school, she saw a way to combine her own love of science with her realization that science teachers need avenues of access to make real-world connections for their students. So that was the point at which she launched the Salk Institute Mobile Science Lab in conjunction with the San Diego County Office of Education, and with a clear mission, which was to use state-of-the-art laboratory activities to show San Diego middle schoolers that science is understandable, can be a career, and is fun. So she continued to work in a creative collaboration with Donna, whom you saw up here since 2005, with Donna Mapston, to solidify and expand the education outreach programs, as we've talked about, and now also with the new programs manager, Nina Ranchad Shah, who just joined the team in July. In addition to the work here at the Institute, Ellen has been involved with ongoing educational activities outside of the education outreach program. She's been a visiting lecturer for an introductory biology course at UCSD. She's served on advisory panels for the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, educational initiatives at the Dolan DNA Learning Center in Cold Spring Harbor in New York. She's been a science advisor to the Reuben H. Fleet Science Center and was the science writer for its exhibition Aging for All Ages and its exhibition on stem cell research. She's been engaged with other institutions throughout San Diego, including UCSD's BioBridge program, the Scripps Research Institute, the Birch Aquarium, the San Diego County Office of Education. She serves on the Educational Steering Committee for Biocom, a life science industry association representing over 500 members. So this has been fantastic, Ellen. Thank you for all you have done. You have made wonderful and remarkable contributions to science education both at the Salk Institute and throughout San Diego. You will be dearly missed in this position, but you won't be forgotten. As this event continues into the future, it will bear your name as the Ellen Potter Research Connections for Teachers Symposium.
This was a surprise. Thank you